Ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome to Adsis Dialogue. The United Nations Food Systems Summit Stocktake and Feast Plus 4 is the second global review since 2021. This huge event, co-hosted by Ethiopia, has put the spotlight on some of the most urgent needs, such as ending hunger, as well as providing equitable, nutritious food to citizens. We're going to be delving into all these and others, and I'm so honored to be joined by my guest, Stefano Gatti, Director General for Development Cooperation at the Italian Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, who has also contributed his share as co-organizer of this event. I'm your host, Shifaralako. Do stay with us. All right. Many thanks for making the time to talk to us. I really, really appreciate it. So, as you know, this summit arrives at a critical midpoint on this journey toward the 2030 SDG agenda, where some of the major countries have already failed on some of the major indicators, if you will, such as ending hunger, obesity, anemia, things like that. So what are some of the major measures that need to be taken in order to come up with the best solution to some of these issues?
Let me tell you that the first important thing that we have all to do is to get together. I mean, this summit is important because you have all the world coming here, not only all the countries, but all the people, entities, organizations, associations that work on food all around the world. So this has already been a success because we hosted in Italy 2 years ago the first of the summit, and the second one you have registered almost double of the people that came in Italy. So really, the more all the world gets together, we discuss, we exchange information, we understand what are the challenges, and not only the governments, because the governments have a very important role, but there are so many different entities, civil society organizations, farmers association, and what is most important and was discussed here, the private sector. If you don't have investment, and important investment from the big agricultural company, the food producing companies, you don't have an evolution, you don't get strength in your food system. And it was very important, and the second result is that this is a collaboration between two countries that are two of the biggest food cultures in the world. So, as the Deputy Secretary General said, this was a handshake between Italy and Ethiopia.
Wow.
Because really we have so many things in common and so many things that we can exchange.
Yes.
So Ethiopian food is an incredibly rich culture. Italy is one of the most influential cultures on food around the world. Italy exports around $80 billion per year of food and food-related items. So for us, it's around 25% of our GDP. And what is most important, that we did this preserving the million of smallholder farmers. So not only developing giant farms that you cannot do in Italy, but maintaining these millions of farmers that develop the tradition of the products that we have in Italy that everybody wants to buy around the world. And we came here, and we worked with Ethiopia because Italy has a very strong commitment towards Africa. We have launched the Mattei Plan for Africa. Our relationship with Africa is a relationship of equal partnership. We do not have to help anybody. Nobody has to help somebody else. We have to work together, to partner together. As our Prime Minister that opened with your Prime Minister the summit, so it was a very important moment, clearly said we are here for a new kind of partnership with Ethiopia, with Africa, that is non-predatory, because history has showed us that there has been also this kind of approach that was wrong, but instead it is a partnership where we all grow together. And for us in Italy, if Africa grows, we grow. Italy is very much in Africa. We are not on the other part of the world. And what is important, we are a country of food and food culture, and Ethiopia is a country of food culture. So this is also one result of the summit, to put countries to work together with all the other stakeholders, the international agency, international organizations, the university, the science community. So what came out as an agreement that will be launched this evening with the call for action of the Secretary General of the United Nations that will be read in the final concluding session by the Deputy Secretary General. First, that we must continue to work together. Yes, we have 5 years until 2030, and we can do a lot, and a lot is happening. Some countries are, working very strongly on hunger. Hunger is very important. There are, unfortunately, tens of millions of people that still suffer of hunger, but there's also the quality of food that you eat, because other illnesses like obesity is not about hunger, it's about eating too much food or the wrong kind of food. So, and these Italy and Ethiopia, we have a culture not only of food, but of healthy food, of good food. So our Prime Minister was very happy to come here to open with Prime Minister Abiy. Ethiopia is undergoing an agricultural revolution, and we are very proud to be a partner of this agricultural revolution in Ethiopia in several sectors that are very important, and one that I have to mention that is, the connection between the culture of Italy and the culture of Ethiopia is coffee. So we are sitting here in front of a traditional ceremony of coffee. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I like very much Ethiopian food, but it's always hot.
Yeah, it's spicy.
Even this is spicy. Opa.
Thank you. Like it? You like it?
Yes, she put too much, but
Yeah, okay. Too much sugar?
it's difficult to drink it, but I like it very much.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Very good.
Yeah. So, how do you like it?
It's very different from Italian coffee, but it's very good.
How come? How different is it?
Because in Italy, the Italian espresso is something like that.
Okay.
It's not a whole cup.
Oh.
It's very, very, very little, but this is very good.
Yes.
Difference does not mean that things are not good.
Exactly.
It's just a different culture, different tradition. But the quality of coffee, you can see here, is very, very good. Italians drink coffee in a concentrated way. No, it has to be, espresso is not more than like that.
Oh.
But this is fantastic. And
Thank you
anyway,
so much.
our espresso coffee is done with Ethiopian coffee. So
Wow.
we do not grow coffee in Italy, a little bit in the south of Italy, but we buy coffee in Africa and in all the other coffee producing countries.
I think Ethiopian coffee is also known globally, especially coffee Arabica is very famous. And I hope Italians also love it.
Yes,
Right?
we do love it, and everybody in Italy knows that coffee comes from Ethiopia. So we know it. So it's just, and that is, I think, symbolic of the relationship between Italy and Ethiopia, because Ethiopia grows the coffee and we transform it. So we are part of the same chain, of
Yes.
evolution.
Yeah, you know what? Talking about the relationship between Ethiopia and your great country, Italy, both countries have enjoyed long-standing friendship dating back to a very long period of time. So how would you describe the friendship between Ethiopia and Italy, especially when it comes to the food areas and things like that? How excellent is it now as we speak?
No, really, in terms of, I would stick to food. We have a relationship, so many things, but food, I think, is symbolic. It's symbolic because, first of all, we have the same appreciation in our culture of the relevance of food. And not only of food, but of quality food. Because today, around the world, and we discussed it in these 2 days of the summit, the real challenge is providing not only enough food, but good quality food. And in every country that you go in the world, even in countries where there are some problems of hunger, they will always tell you that they have something, the best nuts, the best cashew nuts, the best coffee of the world. And quality is important. Italian food transformation and our success in food, where we sell billions of euros of food around the world, is because of quality. So that is, and with Ethiopia, we share the same, understanding of food and quality of food. So our relationship on food, I think, is a basis of a profound friendship that we renewed organizing together this summit. Let me tell you that it's the first time that Italy has been asked by United Nations to organize, co-organize a summit outside of Italy.
Yes.
So for us was really, I think, a reflection of the deep relationship with the two countries. We came here, we found a wonderful team from Ethiopia. I took my team, we worked for several months, from the distance and then here, and in a very, positive and friendship way. We do not have anything to teach. So the kind of relationship is not to teach. The real relationship, and this regards also food, is to exchange experiences, to understand, to exchange information. How are we doing things? How are you doing things? And what are the best possible solutions? How can we learn from Ethiopia? How can Ethiopia or African countries learn from Italy? So one thing that we have done is to maintain a very sophisticated food system, still with million or smallholder farmers there. And that is what every African country wants to do. It's not to reduce farming only to some big, huge farms, but to maintain the diversity, the tradition, the culture, and the food.
Yes, sir.
So this relationship is also developed between Italy and Ethiopia in very important projects that we are doing together in Ethiopia that we discussed during the summit.
Yes.
Our Prime Minister was in Jimma, where we participate to the big transformation that is going forward, in Jimma, and she was there with your Prime Minister to see how this, and we have supported and financed part of these changes. And one other element important is coffee. We are working together on coffee. We have a strategy to support all coffee producing countries in Africa. Africa today grows only 20% of the coffee that is produced in the world, even if coffee originated from Africa. So the share has to increase because there's a lot of demand of coffee, and coffee is paid very well, so the farmers with coffee can have a very important livelihood, but also is facing challenges of climate change. Coffee is something that comes from the forest, and the less forests you have, the less challenge it is to have coffee. So coffee and climate change are closely connected, and the green revolution that Ethiopia is taking forward is really also about how do you grow more food facing the challenges of climate change, because climate change means less water. Sometimes the water is not there, sometimes it's come all together and it destroys everything and creates floods. Ethiopia suffers of this, as we do in Italy, because in Italy we had some very important moments of crisis with rain.
I think it's everywhere.
It's everywhere in the world. It's a common problem. This was discussed during the summit. You cannot, what is now agreed at the United Nations level in the summit is that you cannot look at climate change without looking at agriculture. These two things are closely connected. If these two things are closely connected, Italy and Ethiopia are leaders on food and the production of food. So we have to work together and find solutions. The first day, last Sunday, we had this action day. And we co-organized together with Ethiopia an event on coffee. It was a very successful event. We had with us, you had your Minister of Agriculture that supervises the coffee sector. We took from Italy Andrea Illy, that is the chair of the Illy company, that is one of the big coffee companies from Italy, to discuss the future. What are the future challenges? How do we work together? And in that meeting, I made the announcement that we will take to final financing at the end of this year an important financing for the development of the national coffee plan of Ethiopia, with a loan of more than 100 million euros.
Wow.
So we have already agreed with your authorities, with the government, with the partnership of the International Coffee Organization, of UNIDO, United Nations Agency, specialized also on coffee. We really devised a plan, a national plan that was written by your authorities together with our support and the companies, because some big Italian companies buy Ethiopian coffee. So we discussed all together with them, what do you need to increase the quality, to have more coffee and for longer period of time. All this has been developed in a national plan, and the government of Ethiopia has made an application for our climate fund. Italy has the biggest national climate fund, 4.4 billion euros, that is dedicated to fighting the effects of climate change. So this is one of the biggest projects that we are taking now to the climate fund, more than 100 million euros. And by the end of this year, we are doing all the technical studies. The government of Ethiopia has already applied, we agreed to have this financing, and we will issue this financing at the end of this year. This is an example of the friendship and the collaboration. But you know, once again, it's not, I would like to return to the point that nobody is helping somebody else. You have an incredible, quality of coffee. You have coffee growers. At the event Sunday, we had all the companies, that grow coffee, that sell coffee, that process coffee, and then export coffee. And we had our biggest coffee companies and roasters and toasters. So it's a partnership. How do we work together? What do we have to do together? And this financing is in the interest of Ethiopia, but it's also in the interest of Italy, because our companies want to have, yes, they want to have more coffee, want to have more quality coffee, and they want to be sure that the coffee is grown in a way that is appropriate for your farmers.
Yes, sir.
One of the real problems, and this is an example of the problems we discussed in the summit, is that on coffee, the farmers that grow coffee normally take a share of 3 to 4% of the value of the coffee when it is sold, in the United States or in coffee bars in London or in Rome. And that is not acceptable. It has to be the coffee grower has to have much more value for what they are doing, but also countries should not only grow coffee. There are so many parts of the coffee process to transform it, to wash it, to taste it, quality, that needs to stay in your country and produce more value, more job for people. We have opened here in Addis Ababa years ago with Illy Cafe and with Unido a coffee training center that is very well known.
Wow.
And we now committed to open 25 coffee training centers of the same kind in 25 African countries.
Wow.
So just to train young people, jobs. This is an example of the measure. What we discuss here in the summit is concrete projects. You can have policies, you can have theories, we must do that, but at the end of the day, you have to develop very clear projects.
Yes.
And for us, the collaboration in Africa on coffee, Ethiopia is one of 5 countries, pilot countries, with whom we are preparing this big financing on our climate fund. So we have Ethiopia, Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, and Malawi.
Okay.
These are the first 5 countries in which we are working and using our climate fund with our companies and our technical expertise.
Wow, that's good news.
It's one sector.
Yes.
And the result is quality coffee.
Exactly. I think you should drink a coffee. It's getting cold.
Thank you.
Interesting. So this huge summit is being hosted by Ethiopia for the first time on African soil. What are your overall views about Ethiopia hosting this global event?
First of all, I think that was really a good choice by your Prime Minister to accept the request of the United Nations to have it. Italy supported very much what we organized the last one in Rome 2 years ago. This summit happened every 2 years to take stock of all the changes, what we need to do to advance in food security around the world. And during the last one, and since the last 2 years, there was a lot of discussion, should we have the next one not in Rome, where the agencies, FAO, the Food and Agriculture Organization, United Nations agencies are, but somewhere else. And in that discussion, once the idea came to have it in Africa, Italy supported very much. It's very important. For us, Africa is, first of all, as everybody knows, a continent where a lot of people have still problems of nourishment. Around 4/5 of the people that suffer from malnutrition are in Africa. So there is a problem. But Africa is also the youngest continent and the continent that has more land that can be used in future for agriculture. So if there is a problem, Africa is surely a solution. And not only for Africa, for the rest of the world, for everybody. There are so many tens of millions of hectares of land that is not used for agriculture, fertile land that is not used. And to do this summit in Ethiopia, we were told, we were enthusiastic. Then we were surprised when the United Nations asked us to come and support Ethiopia in organizing the summit. That was a surprise. We did ask it, but once it was proposed,
it's a plus
by United Nations, our Prime Minister and our Foreign Minister enthusiastically reacted, saying, absolutely, we will love very much. We are thankful for Ethiopia that the government of Ethiopia responded very positively, says yes, we would like to do it in partnership with Italy, and that is, yesterday our two prime ministers were opening as a sign of the profound friendship that we have our two countries. But really also that this friendship is based on the same cultural values also about food. So that is very important. And once again, I come back, coffee is an example. You are the cradle of coffee. Coffee comes from Ethiopia, but Italians cannot think about their culture and their life without coffee. So it's something, that you have, is like a virus that you have taken to us, and now we have this common culture, and we are working together. So this is a very important point.
I know you've also observed this from your field visits and from the discussions at the summit. As you know, one of the areas that Ethiopia is fighting is climate, which is characterized by Ethiopia's determination to plant billions of trees through its Green Legacy initiative. What are your overall observations in this regard?
Listen, we believe, first of all, my Prime Minister was in Jimma, so more than me, observing Ethiopia, we had our Prime Minister coming and looking the progress and the changes that are happening in your country. We believe that this project is a fantastic project. We are losing our green, cover all around the world, and Ethiopia is one of the greenest countries in the world. We see a very important value in this program, not only, first of all, because it's not a program only about planting trees that you have to plant, because the more trees you have, the more healthy is the planet. But it's a project that is conceived for the planet and for the people. So we like it very much, because also it's a way, with the involvement of the population in this project, to raise the understanding of people how this is important. How without the nature, without the forest, without the green, if we cut everything, to do other things, we lose. We lose, our culture, we lose our food, and we lose, our climate. So we think, really we want to praise the government of Ethiopia, your Prime Minister, for having launched this program that is a very important program.
From your field visits to the different parts of the country and from your stay here in Ethiopia, what are your views about Ethiopia? How do you describe Ethiopia?
First of all, this is a country with whom we share a profound friendship. And for me, it was an honor and a privilege to come here and be part of this journey of friendship between our two countries. Organizing together a United Nations summit, I don't think a lot of countries have done it all around the world. So it's a first. I understand also from the Deputy Secretary General. So let me tell you that we have been welcomed by a wonderful team, a wonderful atmosphere, and wherever I go around here, I feel that there is so many values that we share between Ethiopian people and the Italian people that is friendship. So when you come here, you are as an Italian, we feel among friends.
Wow. I'm so glad that you like it here, and thank you very much for your wonderful ideas. I really, really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Well, dear viewers, ladies and gentlemen, with that, we come to the end of today's program. Many thanks to you as well for having been with us so far. Until I see you next time with yet another program. It's a goodbye from me, Stefano Gatti. Take care and stay safe.